there. Let me say good morning to the class of 2028, right? Here at Valley Center High School. All right, well, I am Brady Ayer with Jostens, and believe it or not, this is my 27th year of working with high school students like yourself, designing class rings. And Jostens, the company that I represent, has actually been going to schools for over 120 years, helping students like yourself design class rings. So happy to be part of a company that has that kind of tradition in school. So that's what our quick meeting here this morning is all about. Is now it's your turn. Here in a couple of years, we get to work together again. I am also going to be your graduation guide when we get you ready for the big day of graduation, your senior year. So this is kind of the first opportunity we get together to talk about designing your ring. So first important piece of information you need is the deadline. It will be on a sticker on the outside of the package you're going to get here in just a minute, but we will be here next Wednesday, set up during the lunches, so you will actually place your order online at jostens.com. Bring us your confirmation number. It will start with a W, and there are 3 things that you get this year as long as you place your order by the deadline. Number 1, you're going to get dollars off your class ring purchase, depending on the metal choice that you select. So we'll talk about that a little bit when we get to the metals. You'll also get absolutely free of charge a class of 2028 hoodie. That will ship directly to your house. So you'll get that in just a couple of weeks after you place your order. And then the third thing that you get will be a 2028 gratitude ring. So we're going to confirm your size next Wednesday. When you order, we'll give you one of these to wear home that day. You can wear that until your order comes in. When your order comes in, you can then give that to somebody that's made a positive difference in your life. Maybe mom or dad, maybe somebody here at school. Great thing about it is that is totally up to you. So that's the reason why the deadlines are important. Now let's talk about class rings, right? Very traditional, as I mentioned. Jostens going into schools for over 120 years, but I think the great thing about designing class rings is we're all very different, right? We're all very unique. We all have our own talents, our own interests, things we're good at, and that sort of thing. So in designing your class ring, that's the thing about it, is it's very unique to you at a very unique time in your life, which is high school, right? So how is it that you want to be remembered? That's kind of the question we'll talk about. So let's hear some class ring stories here.
This is my Jostens class ring that I'm going to show to you right now. This ring is truly amazing because it reminds me of all my high school grades. I think with I put all the day on here, and my dog. Whenever I get one thing, it was awesome. I was excited about the design. I think they're super important in my family because we used to have some kind of earrings, and it's really something that us as kids look at our parents' rings, and that gives us something to inspire to. I want to try to create a very unique design that's still kind of similar to my dad's ring whenever he was in high school, but also similar to my friends because he was a great inspiration to me as well. I'm really important in this one is put way beyond measure. I chose him because he's from an ignorant middle series of the Indian Protestants and settlers. I'm really in one. Love the word for this. When I first saw my class ring, I was super excited. I put a lot of thought into designing it, and I also wear my mom's class ring every day. She gave it to me as a gift. It's super cool. I get to carry on the tradition.
Some good stories there. I didn't quite make the video there myself, but when I was in high school, I was a big sports guy, football, wrestling, and baseball, but was very fortunate. I ended up on 2 state championship wrestling teams, so you probably wouldn't be surprised to know when it came time for me to design my ring, I wanted wrestling on the side of my ring. I was able to get my school mascot on one side, wrestling on the other, my name above one side, my graduation year above the other. That's kind of that traditional look and the way that you put together a class ring design. So in thinking about your design, there's really just 5 easy steps that go into the design process. The first step is choosing one of the styles that you have to pick from. There's quite a few to pick from. Let's look at them here real quick. class band. This is the newest line in the way of a class ring, a very sleek band design, right? But yeah, a lot of ways you can still put the activities and interests that you're into. And last year, Jostens added the banner band, so that'll be the very most contemporary look in the way of a class ring with the banner bands. And then we have the traditional style like the Achiever, usually round on top, usually has your school name around the top of it, and it has the two sides you pick and put on there. I call those design sides, so if you hear me say that, that's what I'm talking about, right? Another traditional style, the Heritage, a little different than the Achiever. It's more of a square top ring. Unique thing about the Heritage line, your graduation year is right on top of that ring. It's right next to the stone. You can also put two initials on top of that as well. For many years, it was only available with a school crest on top of the stone, like you see the ring in the bottom right. Today, that's an option. You can get it without the crest, so you just see the stone on top of the ring, like the ring in the top middle there. Then we go to the signature line, more of a fashion look, right? They don't have the designer sides, but they still have a lot of engraving options where you can still capture the three things the class ring has always represented. That is your school, your class, and you. However, I think the you portion is still way more prevalent today than ever before. The next style, the varsity style, that goes the opposite direction, right? That's a big ring, kind of a championship looking ring. If you're looking for something big and bold, you can go with the varsity collection. They also have the class tags within the varsity line. The idea that dog tag that is totally customizable, just like a ring. Then you'll see the Trade Winds collection. Looks a little bit like the Achiever that you already saw. That's by design. The Trade Winds is actually a lighter ring, and it has Trade Winds options that go along with it. All right, so the second step, probably the first thing that you see on the ring, right? And that is your stone choice. Traditionally, you would get your school color stone or your birthstone. When I was in high school, I was lucky. That was the same color, and I really liked that color. So you can see you've got a lot of stone choices with the different birthstones that you have. We have some premium stones as well that you see in the top right there. And then we have a genuine line of stones called the Element Stones. There is an upgrade charge for those because, again, they are genuine. I think my favorite is the turquoise. And then on the new banner bands, there is a translucent style that you can get in the way of your stones as well. All right, so step 3 is a big one. Step 3 is a big one because this is what determines the price of your ring. You want to know how much a ring costs, you pick out the style, and then once you pick the metal, your price is determined. The options you pick and put on there are all included in that price. So I get asked a lot of questions about the metals. You know, you have so many different metals and it affects my price, you know, what do you recommend and that sort of thing. So I think it's easier if you think of it this way. We have precious metals, we have non-precious metals, and then we have combinations between the two. I think you know what that does to the price, right? Precious metals are higher, non-precious metals lower, combinations between the two on a nice mid-price range. So, in looking at all the metals available, the bottom right, the gold. So that's what we call our luxury line, right? Yellow gold, white gold, rose gold, 10 karat gold, 14 karat gold. If gold fits your budget, great. Gold is fantastic. However, if you don't know, I will tell you, the price of gold is still extremely high, and that does affect the price on a high school class ring, and we have some great alternatives to that, and that would be the combinations of precious and non-precious on a mid-price range, the most popular being the sterling silver that you see in the bottom left there, because it's very shiny silver, and it's actually made with sterling silver. The dual cast in the top right combines 10 karat yellow gold with our non-precious metal. So it's the two-tone that you see. It's the gold and silver together. And if you like the gold color, Solaris Elite on the bottom there is a great pick. It actually does contain some carats of gold. And then we have our non-precious classic line, top left, white lustrium, right? Very shiny silver, very heavy, very durable, holds up very well over time. Keywords, non-precious. It's covered just like everything else. If that's where your budget is, there's nothing to worry about with the white lustrium. You will notice that that is where the pricing starts for each of the different rings. And then we've got the deluxe casts right over the non-precious. The most popular, you can probably guess, is the shadow cast. It's that real dark metal, what I call flat black or matte black, right? Forged iron was added a couple of years ago, kind of a rustic antique look. And then the sun cast is available if you like the gold color in that as well. So, how your discount works, you'll enter the code GWP Metal 26. You don't have to write that down. You'll see that code online, right? But it's $50 if you order by the deadline, $50 off the classic and deluxe, $75 off the premium metals in the middle, and $100 off the luxury golds. okay? So remember that when you're checking out. You also want to make sure to get your hoodie size in there, and that'll ship to you, all right? The fourth step is the story, right? The fourth step is your story. There are thousands of designer sites to pick from. You'll see when you go online to jostens.com. So it doesn't really matter who you are in here or what you're into. You will be able to represent that in the way of the many designer sites that you have to pick from. Let's look at a few here real quick. Something for everyone in the way of your designer size. The last step, the fifth step, is just your finishing touches. We'll engrave your full name inside the band of the ring. That's kind of for identification. Hopefully, if you leave your ring laying around somewhere, somebody can read your name in there and get it back to you. The antique finish is the black background on the sides. I think it makes your sides stand out quite a bit better. You may like the satin though, where it's all one color. That's an option for you as well. And once you get there, you're done. As I mentioned, your design's put together. All the options that you pick and put on there, they're all included within the price of that ring. You also have automatically included a 4-year ring protection plan. Works a little bit like insurance. So if your ring is lost or stolen, you can get it replaced. You will pay a deductible amount that depends on the metal choice that you had, right? But it's a fraction of what you originally paid, and you get a brand new ring. So there's just so much that you get that comes along with your Jostens glass ring purchase. I always like to talk a little bit about what I like to refer to as the Jostens difference, right? Jostens has been allowed to come into the schools to work with students like yourselves for over 120 years. I think there's a lot of reasons for that. No other company has produced more Super Bowl and World Championship type rings than Jostens. I'm going to guess we might have a few Chiefs fans in here, so great Super Bowl ring video here for you real quick. Jostens has produced all 4 of the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl rings now, spanning the time frame of about 50 years, and I think I've been a Chiefs fan for about 50 years now, so I think that's pretty cool myself. But I think it's so much more the reasons why Jostens has been allowed to come into schools and work with students like yourselves for so many years. I think it's everything that you get that comes along with your purchase. So what does it mean to you, right? Well, it means your class ring is resized for free for life. You'll never have to pay to have your class ring resized, no matter how many times, no matter how big or small. Stone replacements, free cleaning, free polishing. As I mentioned, here in a couple of years, we get to work together again, getting you ready for the big day of graduation. The point is, you will see us here at school. If there's something to take care of with your ring, a real easy thing for us to do. We also have an office locally as well. So that being said, I'm going to pass out the packets here real quick, so give me just a minute. I'll be right back with you, and we'll finish up before we head out.
the ring like it makes money, with the same quality that I would like to have my ring.
Everything is handcrafted. There's not a machine that's doing anything wrong.